A new report published by the Centers for Disease Control last Thursday details a very disturbing trend among Americans, particularly the youth of the United States. It seems that suicides are now reaching record highs, and in some cases where homicide has been the leading cause of death of certain groups of youth, that has now been replaced by suicide. The report published Thursday found that between 2007 and 2017, the rate of Americans ages 10 to 14 who died by suicide has risen by 56%, and this is a very significant number. And rates of homicides in the same group, which have been declining from 2007 to 2014, have increased by 18% over the course of the next 3 years, according to the CDC. So not only are we seeing an astronomical raise in the number of suicides among youth, but among homicides as well. Now, suicide was the leading cause of death of young Americans aged 10 to 24. So we're talking children, like 10-year-olds, actual children, all the way up to young adults. And this was found in 2017, according to the report. Homicide ranked third for those ages 15 and 24 that year. So it's still very shocking that homicides are in that position when it comes to deaths among people 10 to 24 years old. Although the report says no one knows exactly why the suicide rates are rising in the U.S., but experts say the leading cause is the use of social media among children, teens, and young adults. In fact, they say that there is a correlation between the amount of screen time that a person has and the likelihood of committing suicide. Of course, this is possibly the worst thing that could possibly be blamed for the suicides in America. Staring at a screen obviously does not cause you to commit suicide. There are much greater factors, like social anxiety, and I don't mean in the don't like to go out in public kind of anxiety. I mean in the worried about the future, worried about the decaying state of the world. And yes, despite what many people think, even children can be fully aware and affected by what's going on in the world around them, especially if they don't understand it. When you have a child and a parent loses a job, the child knows that something bad is happening. They don't understand, but they know something is bad, and that affects them emotionally. Now take that and put it into a larger context of an entire society, and you can have possibly an entire generation of alienated youth. Not alienated in the traditional bourgeois sense, but in the Marxist definition of capitalist alienation, the disconnection of people from each other, and then people no longer seeing each other as fellow human beings, but almost abstract concepts that stand in opposition to them, because that's frankly the way society puts things up. You're fighting for people with other people for a position in schools. You're fighting with other people for positions and jobs, and normally that kind of competition isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when the consequences are so devastating, the options are so limited, that takes on an entire new dimension. That's a little bit different from healthy competition, which can help some people thrive. It becomes worried about getting the top position to worried about not getting a position at all, which can be very devastating. So I think this report from the CDC, despite the fact that they give very clear, real numbers from investigation, they are actually quite far from understanding exactly why the situation is the way it is. People generally do seek out more screen time when there's less people to interact with. If they have less interactions due to alienation, then that is going to be taken up by digitally interfacing with people, that being screen time. The screen time is a symptom, not the cause, which is what it seems that the CDC report would be saying. Although they don't directly say this, they say it's a correlation. They don't say it's causation, but the implication is there. And this is one of those major things that capitalism is unable to address. They cannot deal with the ongoing alienation in society because this alienation is caused by capitalism itself. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.